The video speaks for itself. The method by which this situation has been handled raises serious questions as to whether there's bias involved in the investigation. It also brings into question the possibility of a lack of integrity and whether there's something else to hide.
Hey, yo, it's your boy, Mr. 1751, man. For those of you who have already smashed subscribe, I'd like to thank you all, man, for your unwavering support. And for those of you who have yet to smash the subscribe, man, go on over, do yourself a favor, smash the subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell notification while you're at it. You won't be disappointed. Now, right, getting into it, we're going to be following up, man, on the Cincinnati brawl situation, right? In which they're trying to make a racial, altercation. You know, they're trying so hard to make this thing appear racial. You know, just for the simple fact that there was black skin pounding on white skin, right? And that's all they see. They don't care about the people being Russian, and, you know, they don't care about the Donald Trump, chance of American first, right? American first. Just like you hear that guy say, when he say, I thought it was America first.
You have video evidence of him assaulting someone, and they're saying these people are Russians. So what happened to America first? I guess that goes out the window when it's black folks, right? You gotta make it into a race thing when the black folks are sticking up for themselves. Let me remind you that they have a stand your ground law in Ohio, and I'm about to show you exactly what it says. So Ohio has a stand your ground law they passed in 2021 that takes away the duty to retreat. You can see it right there. There was a requirement to retreat, and now there's not. And the law gives you a self-defense right in defense of yourself, in defense of another, in defense of one's residence. So as soon as it was de-escalated and the white man walked up to the black man and smacked him right in the face, everybody there had a right, according to Ohio, to unalive him on the spot.
Does that not apply to black people? You understand? Because America first means America first. At least that's what we would like to believe, right? But it's obvious, as you can see, that statement doesn't apply to black folk, you know. And this is just a prime example. Now, from the beginning, I said these people are not innocent. They're not innocent. But I said there's only a matter of time before they have every major platform, spinning the false narrative about this being a racial situation, right? Some black folks, just out in the town looking for some good old white folks to beat on, right? They want to try to, this is just another situation that these people, these racist bigots could use to divide us, man. To divide us. That's all this is about, man. Now, as you can see so far, you got about 5 or 6 black folks that was involved in this fight that has been arrested, right? Every single person that's been arrested so far has been black. Now, like I said in the first video, I don't condone, a bunch of people jumping on one person, but whether I condone it or not, that's reality. We could all say that's not right. He hit one man and 5 or 6 people shouldn't be jumping on him. They should let him get a one-on-one. A whole lot of things should happen. But this is life, You have to be observant. You have to be aware of your surroundings and aware of the situation. Because, this could have easily went a lot farther than it did, But just the simple fact that they're making this racial, it just baffles me, man. This doesn't rub me the right way, man. And then they got you know, a lot of the coons within the black, you know, we like to call the house ninja, right? They're seeing this as an opportunity to you know, to race bait and to ride with the narrative so that they can get their white audience, their white fan base, you know, get their white fan base up, right? Their white supporters. And, you know, it's just popular to go with the machine sometimes because success has always come in, you know, in negligence, right? Success. A lot of times we see people that's successful in certain things and we think they work so hard to get there. But a lot of times they ain't did nothing special. They ain't did nothing special, man. You know, a lot of these people don't have a backbone. A lot of these people, you know, they don't have any dignity. You know, they're willing to do whatever. Same way you see what you know, your favorite celebrities out here, man. You know, you idolize them. You go to their shows, you fall out, and throw your panties on stage, all kind of shit, right? You think these people are better than you because of their star status, their celebrityism, right? But if you only knew some of the things that these people have had to do behind the scenes, while you was just out here living your, you know, your regular little, normal little, you know, daily day-to-day life, right? They had to attend mansion parties and, you know, and do a whole lot of strange things, you know, for opportunity, for business deals. You know, they've had to do a lot of shit, man. They had to compromise their dignity, right? And once they compromise their dignity once, it's like they done broke the ice already. You know, it's like anything. Once you do it once, you break the ice, man. Everything after that is just like, it's you know, it's like I'm just doing it again. You know, it's not as bad as the first time, right? And then they start to become okay with it, and that's what a lot of these coons in this situation is doing, man. You know, they base their channels, you know, channels like this guy, this sucker, Anton Daniels. Anton Daniels. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with this guy, man, but this guy, man, he's the prime example of a house ninja. You know, his daddy passed away, left him some insurance money or whatever. His daddy left him some money. You know, not to say that he hasn't, you know, contributed to expanding that money, but it was said that he became wealthy by his daddy's money, right? And nothing is wrong with that. But when you in a position like that and you take your platform and on your platform, you specifically speak down on black folks. And not only speak down on black folks, but you speak down on the black folks that are beneath you financially, right? But when you in the presence of a black person that had just as much money as you or more, you kind of see the shift. You know, you can't talk that fly shit. You can't talk that fly shit because they'll put you in your place.
Yeah. No, can I say something, please?
Yeah, of course.
You know, and I'm not sure who this brother is, and you know, I hear his passion. You know, I hear it. But when he speaks about his wife, he speaks about her like she's an item. She works for me. She's up under me. No, that's not how the family dynamic is. And then he's saying, well, you're a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. When I wasn't a millionaire, I took care of my woman 100%. Without finances, I lived in my lane. And that's the topic of the conversation.
You know, because you're a corny motherfucker with money. You got motherfuckers out here that's solid. They solid, man, in everything they do, man. You know, and they richer than you. You can't talk that shit around them. You know, you got guys like Anton Daniels, man. You know, the Hodge twins. Y'all familiar with the Hodge twins? You know, you got the two twin brothers go by the name Hodge twins. They all figured out the program. They figured out the program, right? And I'm gonna explain to you in a second. Who else? Cartier family. All these people, you can type them up on YouTube, man. Cartier family. That's another group of young guys, right? who they're also on the same program, right? They're on the same, they figured out this program, which I'm about to break down to you. Another one is Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, you know, former police officer, YouTube race baiter, tap dancer.
But you just want to keep, yes, a boss, yes, a master, yes, a boss. You want to keep denying racism and systemic racism. If ever, ain't no racism over here. No racism ever gonna be over here. If ever when there is some racism, I ain't never seen no racism over here. The racism ain't never gonna be over here at all. I never seen no racism. Black folk keep making racism up. Keep on messing with the good old white folk. The white folk be so good to us. They be so kind, so respectful, so loyal to us. We don't know how to be loyal to these white folk. We want to be loyal to them. We want to be bad Negroes. We want to rise up. We want to fight back against stuff. We need to just be quiet, shut up and dribble. Shut up, get that little money you getting, and be quiet, and don't say nothing about it. These good old white folk, we got a good old, they give us all the little scraps. We need to just be happy with that. That's if no racism at all. If ever when there is racism, I don't never see. He want to be one of them goofy mugs. One of them. And he think that shit pays off. Like, I'm cursing a lot. Excuse me, y'all.
People like this, man, you know, they don't last long. They don't last long. And if they do last long, you know, they eventually get their wake-up call. They eventually get smacked in the face, you know, by the very person who they so long protected and stood with, you know, in their oppression on another people, right? On their own people, you know. There's no way. There's no way, man. I'm riding with a people that is oppressing my people, you know, whether I feel like they're oppressing me personally or not. It is a fact that my people are being oppressed and that these systems are set in place to keep my people under. Whether I'm well off or not doesn't you know, doesn't change the fact that these systems are still in place, you know. But people like this, they figured out the system, you know. And now this is a very lucrative strategy, right? To stay relevant in YouTube. But in order to get with this program, you have to be spineless. You got to be a spineless coward, willing to tap dance, you know, and just dance around the truth, you know, and avoid the facts. You understand? Now what they do is they understand that when you talk about black people, as a black person, there are many white folks and other folks out here who actually have black fatigue. Not ghetto fatigue. They have black fatigue. They hate all black people. They don't care whether you're wealthy or you're shaking your booty on a cruise ship. They don't care what your status or your tax bracket is, man. They hate black skin. Right? And what people like these guys that I just mentioned, what they figured out is that if they could just, you know, every once in a while, their base is to attack black people. Because when they attack black people on their videos get hundreds of thousands of views. Right? And a lot of these guys, you'll notice that if you look across their page, you'll see a lot of their videos might have 30,000, 40,000 views. But then you see every once in a while, they'll circle back around to make a video down in black people, right? And that particular video would do over 200,000 or you know, upwards towards 500,000 views, shit like that. Because they understand that there's a big market out there. There's a big fan base out there that will tap into a black man talking about black people. because they feel like that is their, that's their puppet. You know, he's saying what all these white folks been feeling. You know, what they want to say. But they just haven't been able to muster up they haven't been able to muster up the courage to get on social media and talk about black folks all day long, right? Because the backlash that will come from it. But as a black person, once you figure out that, every time I make a video about black folks, somehow I get a shitload of views and subscribers, right? So once they build that base like that, they have to always circle back around. Even if their channel is not about bashing black people, that is the foundation of their channel. So many people on their channel have to subscribe to their channel because they watched a video of them bashing black people and they hit that subscribe. Now, if you were to turn around and not ever do another video about bashing black people, or if you were to turn around and switch perspectives and start to uplift your black people, they understand how detrimental that could be to their subscriber base. They will start to see people fall off of their subscriber list. You know, because this is not what they subscribe for. You know, they subscribe to hear you talk more and more, make more videos speaking about your own people, right? But that's what these coons, these no backbone having black guys, this is what they understand. They figured it out. Like I said, I'm gonna mention them again. You got the Hodge twins, right? You got Anton Daniels, coon number 1, right? You got Brandon Tatum, right? You got the Cartier family. You even got Myron Gaines. You got Myron Gaines, man. This guy said that he think that America should stay dominated by white people. You know, white people should remain the majority. Even after knowing all of the things, all of the atrocities they've inflicted on other races for no apparent reason whatsoever. He said he believes that this is what Myron Gaines said. He believed that if black folks were to become the majority, he wouldn't want to be here, right, in America. It wouldn't be the same America. You know, basically saying that America will turn into just a ghetto, right? As if it's not already a ghetto on a high level. Hey, there's nothing that's going on in the hood amongst black people that ain't going on a larger scale, you know, within politics and in these political spaces, right? All over America, man. All over America, man. The worst people, the monster appears in the suit. He appears in the suit. The monster, you got guys out here in suits, man, that is bending people over left and right, you know, beating them for millions of dollars, a number that most of us may never see. You got people out here being beat out of $1 million because they trusted a white man in the suit and they felt like they were safe by dealing with this man because, you know, gave him a nice warm welcoming. You know, he appears very, very articulate and professional, right? But one thing they understand is these are the traits that they must have to make the lick sweeter, man. You know, if you can sweet talk somebody, man, and persuade them to believe that you're better than they are and that you're better than what they're used to, then they give you their money, man. They'll trust you even though they don't know you. So just understand that, man. But I know we got off topic, but getting back around to this brawl, man. Now you got the police chief, right? This lady, when she was asked about, you know, are they going to arrest the white guy? The white guy who started the fight, that gave the first slap right across the face of his brother, right? Goonie 2 times. The white man who slapped Goonie 2 times, right? Before this fight started, right? This police chief was asked, why isn't the white man arrested when he's the first one to commit an assault, right? That was definitely an assault. He should be charged with assault. And many people are concerned with why isn't he arrested. Very concerning, right? But since they made this political and racial, this is not just right or wrong no more, man. This is a message. They want to keep a stronghold on Black America. They feel like they're losing grip. Black folks used to know better than, to act like this against a white person or white people. We're losing our grip. These people they're starting to realize that they can actually whoop our ass and treat us like they treat each other. And go home and sleep good. They wanna change. They wanna change that. They wanna keep a stronghold on Black folks, and that's what this is all about, man. It's not about right or wrong. I have never in my 42 years of living, right, in about 20 years of being a criminal myself, right, committing all types of crimes, right, being in and out of the jail system, right, I have never, ever heard of anybody's attorney being able to tell the police, you can't speak to my client. And the police respect that and say, okay, well, we can't speak to him, then we can't arrest him. We need to speak to him first, whether we have him on camera or not. Whether we have him on camera or not. His lawyer don't want us speaking to him, so if we can't speak to him, the footage does us no good because we can't arrest him.
Seriously, as I mentioned, I expect more charges and more arrests.
They spoke to his counsel before they went down to see him, and the counsel said no. He did not want the police talking to his client, so therefore we have not had a conversation with him yet.
I mean, how interesting, man. How interesting. You can arrest 5, 6 Black folks, right? Just off the camera footage alone, from what you see on the camera, right? The crimes that's being committed, which there are many nuances to that as well. Was this even a crime? Being the fact that it was met with force, right? But yeah, man, this police lady, man, she said we were unable to make an arrest because obviously his lawyer wouldn't let us speak to him. So for that fact, the white man still remains free and on the loose, right? Now, major platforms, like I've been warning you all about these major platforms, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all the platforms that you love to get your information from, right? I've been trying to tell you people for a long time, these channels are not trusted sources, man. They spin narratives for a living, man. They're all about race baiting and playing, white and Black against each other, right? And amongst other things, they just have wicked practices. I'm gonna put it that way. Now, on Fox News, Laura Ingraham, which is the host of Fox News, right? Her and her husband is just some dirtbags, man. They bigots, man. If I ever knew one, they are bigots, man. Without a doubt, right? Now, Laura Ingraham just brung on the woman who was hit in a downtown Cincinnati brawl. Not an attack, but the downtown Cincinnati brawl. Now, just recently, Laura Ingraham brought this lady on to the, onto her show, and she asked this lady, I know that, initially you said you didn't think this was a racial attack, but basically she wanted to give this woman a chance and try to kind of give her a hint of what she want her to say, right? Because by starting off like that, if the lady already said, I don't believe it's racial, then why would Laura Ingraham start off by saying, I know initially you said you don't believe that this to be a racial attack, but has anything changed? The fact, because this is not right. This is, she was giving her clues to say, well, maybe it could have been racial. Yeah, I do believe it was racial. And if you watch it, you'll see farther on down the line during this interview, the lady, she switched lanes from her initial statement. Now she's pushing a racial narrative.
I think everyone's wondering this when they watch this. First of all, how you were doing, and we know you're still hurting. But also people wondering, is this, in your mind, or was it in any way racially motivated in any direction, either from initial comments, you said no, but from the attackers' comments that you heard at the time or the way they were acting, do you feel like this was a message to people like you, don't come here anymore?
I do, but, I don't feel that they're going to win. So, we're not going to back down and stay out of the streets or go and run and hide. It's unfortunate that this group, wanted to make it into a racial hate beatdown. But I think there are so many amazing Black people out there that I don't want this to become a Black versus white situation. I don't want everyone, the white people to start saying bad things about Black people or it become rioting issues or anything. It's unfortunate that these people made it into hate, but I don't want retaliation where there's white versus Black going on out there.
Now she's pushing a racial narrative. Although she said she don't want this to be a dividing, between Black and white people, because she do believe herself that there are some good Black folks, right? But this lady, she went on to mention the police officers and how this brawl went on for, this beatdown, as she say, went on for about 15, 20 minutes. She didn't even know the man. She met that man that night. And for some reason, she inserted herself into this altercation, right? Even after she said she noticed another woman tried to jump in and tried to break it up, and they knocked her to the ground. So just knowing that you seen another white woman jump into this brawl and get knocked to the ground, what made this woman think that she was okay to be able to go into this big brawl and push people around and try to grab people and one of these footage in the piece of the footage that was deleted out of a lot of the stuff that they're showing on these news channels, this woman actually hit another woman. So she was no innocent bystander. She was involved. Yes, she was involved. Everyone was drunk that night, and just like she said, when Laura Ingraham asked her, when did she know, what was the last thing she remembered before the punch? She just said all she could remember is her holding her hands up, trying to get people to stop, and then she got punched out. And then she was laying on her back, she opened her eyes, and she noticed that it was a few people that was trying to help her, as she noticed more people rushing towards her while she was on the ground so that they could stop her head against the curb.
I also want to know, what's the last thing you remember before you were knocked out? The last thing.
I just remember having my arms up and then just begging, please, please stop. And I just remember thinking that that would help to calm everyone down because they had had their 15, 20 minutes of beat down time. And then I had thought, you know, if I really thought that I could help. And it's so unfortunate that, you know, they also had attacked me instead of calming down.
And you will, when you came to, when you regained consciousness, where were you? Were you still lying down on the pavement?
Oh, I was laying down, yeah, and I heard a woman's voice, which had me very panicked, just saying, please, please wake up, please. And I had no idea what was going on, but when I go back and watch the video, it appears that there were a few people who were trying to run at my body as I was knocked out. I feel like they were coming to also curb stomp my face like they did to some of the others, and she had protected me. But she also had been attacked in the very beginning of the fight, trying to help stop it. And so it was very brave of her to come and jump in. But that's what I woke up to that, and I knew that I was in danger, and I had to just get up.
Wherever she got that shit from, but she noticed more people coming towards her to finish her off while she was on the ground, to stomp her out. But there was a few women who was trying to get her off the ground and hold those people back. You know, see, this is the thing, man. This woman is the typical victim, man, here in America. You know, middle-aged white woman, right? Can do no wrong. You know, that's why you got so many Karens on the rise, man. They in everybody's business because they understand that they're the most protected class. You know, they're the most protected. You know, and that destroys them mentally, man. You know, that puts them in danger. When you make these people feel like they have sort of a privilege over other people and that they can do whatever they want and they'll always be protected. You're doing nothing but messing these people up because they're going to eventually run into a brick wall and they may not make it home. Take that for what you will, you know. Everybody's not going to play these games. Some people will just get them out the way, man, and deal with the consequences as they come, right? But, yeah, this woman, man, she took that narrative and she spent it. She picked up on what Laura Ingraham was putting down. I need you to say this, because this is what we need to fit our narrative so that we can spin this race thing and put these black people back in their place, right? Now, this woman said after she was punched out, there was no ambulance called. She got up. Yeah, she got up. And she said the first police officer that she seen was leaning on his car. And she went to go tell him, you know, about what, you know, what's going on. And he just, you know, he listened to him, but he was nonchalant about it, right? He didn't even take a police report, and he didn't even think to call for the medics. Being though this lady's face was all messed up. He didn't even think to call for a medic. As a result, she took an Uber home. And what do drunk people do when they have a bad night, right? You drunk a lot, you got into a fight, you got beat up. What do? You don't go to the hospital, right? You go home and you sleep that shit off.
So offensive on so many levels, the way we were treated. That I just went home and went to bed and was like, I just need to sleep this off. I just need to sleep this off.
You know, I was out here tripping, like I shouldn't have been out there anyway. I had too much to drink. And that's exactly what this woman did, man. She knew. That's why she didn't go to the ER. Because any person who's hurt and knows that they was actually a victim, they're not just going to go home and sleep it off. This woman knew that she was wrong. She knew that she put hands on people, and as a result, she got what she was looking for. And that's exactly what happened. So she went home and she slept it off, right? Until the news got involved and, you know, the white community got involved and created this racial narrative. This is when she got with the program and realized, you know what? Maybe I do need to get down with the program and and act like I was a victim and act like, you know, we were just out in the town at a birthday party. I don't usually go out to birthday parties, but we were just at a birthday party and we left and we're walking down the block and these black folks just happened to be looking for some white folks to jump on and stomp out, right? This is the narrative that they created for white, you know, to fearmonger white America, to think that they're not safe in black spaces, which is a bunch of bullshit. White folks are more safe in black areas than black folks. I don't know why people can't see that shit, man. You know, we walk right past white folks and give them a nice how you doing, right? On the way to go blow a nigga head off on a corner. Just let that sink in, man. Let that sink in, right? White folks are more safe in black areas than black folks. But this is not what they want you to believe, right? Because this doesn't help their narrative at all. But yeah, man, this is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know, they know it, we know it, but it's bigger than right or wrong, man. This is about keeping a stronghold on black America, man. They gotta let us know that regardless, no matter what a white person do, we are not to lift a finger, man. We are not to defend ourselves against white folks, or we will be met with disproportionate consequences, right? You know, they always said, man, there's two-tier justice system, man, one for whites and one for blacks. You know, and that couldn't be any farther from a lie, man. You know, that is a fact. Now, I'm still waiting to see how this is all gonna play out, man. This white guy should be arrested. He should be arrested, man. They're even going as far as to hiding his mugshot. I wonder, do he even have a mugshot? They're hiding the man's picture. They're hiding his name. You know, he's a ghost in the situation. You know, but they're plastering these black people faces all over the media, man, and making them out to be, you know, like the lady said, they bring up their criminal history as if, you know, the guy being out on bond has anything to do with this incident. They love to do this shit when it comes to black people, man. You know, they want to look into your history. But any other time, you know, whether you're guilty or you're innocent, if the courts deem you guilty, then you're guilty. If they say you're innocent, you're innocent, right? But that doesn't apply when you have a situation like this, where you got black guys who was involved with this fight, who has criminal histories. They feel like, oh, he shouldn't have been out anyway. Well, if the courts let him out, then he's free. You shouldn't be able to bring that up. If the courts let him out, there was a court ruling that this guy must have deserved this bail or whatever the bail was, house arrest, whatever. If the courts deemed it necessary and just, then situation closed. That's what it is, right? But what they do is they spin. The justice system is compromisable, depending on who it's dealing with. You know, they will compromise their values when it comes to dealing with black and brown people. Every time. They're willing to bend a little. They're willing to break a few rules. You know. But now, for these people to be arrested, man, I'm not saying these people are innocent, because a lot of them did insert themselves in as a man was on the ground. They got the kicks in and all that, which wasn't right. But like I said, man, this is life. It's reality. They quick to tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? You know, get over it. You're always complaining about everything. You know, slavery was 400 years ago. You know, you talk about your ancestors and you talk about the system oppressing you, and, you know, white people are holding you down and everything. We can't even complain about our struggles and our pain, right? We can't even complain, right? It's sickening, man. It's sickening, man. You know. But anyway, man, this is a quite long one, man. But until next time, y'all stay up, man. Stay hydrated, man. Stay out the heat, cause it is hot outside, man. You know, I was gonna go out in the park today, man, and knock this video out, but yeah, it's real hot out there, man. It ain't a whole lot of shade, so you see where I'm at. In the comfort of my own place, man, you know, getting work done. But anyway, man, it's your boy, Mr. 1751, bringing you another 1751 review. And until next video, hey, if you enjoy watching videos like these, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Help your boy get into the algorithm so that I can continue to bring you more videos just like the one you just watched. Anyway, until next time, y'all stay up.
Are you okay? Do you need the fire department? No, I don't need the fire department. I was 62 years old. I was attacked. I got attacked by multiple people. What led up to the fight? Don't really know. It just out of the bar and it just got crazy.
And that man talking is one of the men seen on other videos being attacked. He really didn't know what led to him being punched. Officers did ask him and at least one other victim if they needed the fire department, and they said no. Another man questioned by police said they were outside waiting for a lift when they were jumped. Now, from what I listened to so far, no one really said what led to the attack. Now, another man told police he was fighting for his life to get out of there, then started taking pictures of everyone surrounding him. And in the video that was released, you do see him scrolling through photos, showing them to officers. Again, just got the video, still going through it. We'll have much more for you at 5 o'clock. Sherry.